There's a moment when you catch yourself staring at your own life from a distance. Nothing is wrong. In fact, most things are fine. You're functioning, you're progressing, you're doing what you're supposed to do. And yet, there's a hollow space inside you that doesn't make sense. It's not sadness, not grief, not even despair. It's quieter than that. An absence you can't explain without sounding ungrateful. You tell yourself you shouldn't feel this way. Other people would trade lives with you in a heartbeat. You have stability, direction, small wins adding up. So why does it feel like you're watching yourself live instead of actually being alive? Why does the word well feel so thin when it's applied to your life? The emptiness doesn't shout, it whispers, and that's what makes it unsettling. You've learned how to answer the question, how are you doing? Good, busy, can't complain. You say it automatically, almost convincingly, but inside, you're not complaining because you don't even know what the complaint would be. There's no clear pain to point at, no dramatic heartbreak, no obvious loss, just a vague sense that something essential is missing. Psychologically, this is one of the hardest states to sit with. Pain demands attention. Crisis creates urgency. But emptiness blends in. It allows you to keep going, to keep achieving, to keep checking boxes, while quietly disconnecting you from yourself. You're not falling apart. You're drifting. Somewhere along the way, your life became a collection of reasonable decisions. Safe decisions, logical decisions, responsible decisions. You chose paths that made sense, that earned approval, that reduced risk. And none of those choices were wrong, but they were often answers to the question, what should I do? Not, what do I feel alive doing? So your life became efficient, structured, predictable, and slowly, meaning got replaced with management. You manage your time, your emotions, your image. You optimize your days, but neglect your inner world. And the emptiness grows not because life is bad, but because it's lived on the surface. There's a lesser-known moment in the life of Leo Tolstoy. At the height of his success, after writing some of the most celebrated novels in history, he fell into a deep existential crisis. He had fame, wealth, respect, and yet he wrote about feeling so empty that he contemplated ending his life. Not because he lacked achievement, but because achievement failed to answer the deeper question haunting him. Why am I doing any of this? Tolstoy realized something terrifying. You can win the game society teaches you to play and still feel like you've lost something vital. Success does not protect you from emptiness. Sometimes it exposes it. Today, emptiness looks quieter, but it's everywhere. It's the feeling you get scrolling through your phone after a productive day. The moment when distraction stops working. The silence that arrives when no one needs anything from you. You've been busy all day, yet you feel untouched by it. Your calendar is full. Your mind is tired, but your heart feels unused. You mistake exhaustion for fulfillment, motion for meaning. But being occupied is not the same as being connected. And deep down, you know the difference. At some point, you may have traded depth for stability. You learned how to suppress questions that didn't have immediate answers. How to postpone feelings that disrupted productivity. How to prioritize survival over expression. This wasn't a failure, it was adaptation. But adaptation has a cost. The parts of you that didn't fit neatly into your routine didn't disappear. They went quiet. Your curiosity, your wonder, your sense of play, your emotional honesty, they're still there, waiting. And emptiness is often what you feel when those parts have been ignored for too long. Imagine living in a beautifully furnished house where one room has been locked for years. You don't miss it consciously. You function without it. But something about the house never feels complete. That locked room is your inner life, your unexpressed emotions, your unexamined desires, your unexplored questions. Life is going well because you've learned how to live in the accessible spaces. But fullness comes from entering the rooms you avoided, not from perfecting the ones you already know. Emptiness feels like a personal failure. You think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just enjoy this? But emptiness is not a flaw. It's a signal, a quiet one. It's your psyche telling you that external alignment has outpaced internal meaning, that you've built a life that works, but hasn't been fully inhabited. You've been living correctly instead of honestly, and your inner world is asking for attention. If you really listen, you'll notice fear beneath the emptiness. Fear that if you stop and look too closely, something will unravel. Fear that questioning your life means disrespecting what you've built. Fear that wanting more meaning means rejecting the life that saved you. So you keep going, you stay busy, you stay distracted, you stay functional, because emptiness feels safer than asking the wrong questions. But emptiness doesn't go away by being ignored. It deepens. Healing doesn't start with drastic change. It starts with noticing. Noticing when you feel most absent. Noticing what drains you versus what quietly restores you. Noticing which parts of your day feel lived and which feel endured. You stop asking, is this impressive? And start asking, is this honest? You allow yourself to feel bored, dissatisfied, unfulfilled, without immediately fixing it. Because emptiness isn't something to eliminate, it's something to understand. Meaning doesn't arrive all at once. It seeps in slowly, through small acts of presence, moments of emotional risk, choosing depth over convenience. You begin doing things that don't optimize your life, but humanize it. Conversations that aren't productive, silence that isn't filled, interests that don't lead anywhere. At first, it feels inefficient. Then it feels real. You realize something subtle but profound. Your emptiness wasn't caused by a lack of success. It was caused by a lack of self-connection. So you start reconnecting, not by burning your life down, but by letting yourself exist more fully within it. You speak truths sooner. You listen inward longer. You stop treating your inner life as an inconvenience. And slowly, the emptiness shifts, not into constant happiness, but into aliveness. One day, you'll still have responsibilities, still have stress, still have ordinary days. But the emptiness won't dominate the silence anymore, because you'll understand what it was asking for. Not a different life, but a deeper presence within the one you have. And you'll realize something hauntingly simple. Life was going well on the outside because you were surviving. It begins to feel full when you finally start showing up inside it. Not perfectly, not dramatically, but honestly. And that honest, quiet, fragile, and real is what turns an empty life into a lived one. If this felt familiar, that's not a coincidence. It means something inside you recognized itself. Before you go, ask yourself, what part of this stayed with you? You don't need to explain it. Even a few words is enough. Write it in the comments, not just for you, but because someone else scrolling might read your words at the exact moment they need them. And if you want more reflections like this, please like this video and subscribe.